This is the State of Search Conference 2020 virtual mode. I am Chris Silversmith. I'm here to talk to you today about reputation management SEO, 10 things you can do to outrank a negative item in the search engine results pages. We are almost ready to go here. I have Googlebot here is ready to go and going to release a few little secrets of how to get stuff to rank in the search results and outrank a few negative items. If you don't know me, I am the founder of Argent Media, an agency providing SEO, social media optimization, and online reputation management in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, although most of my clients are international and nationwide. I've long been a columnist for the Search Engine Land website almost since its inception. I also work often as an expert witness on legal cases involving trademark infringement, defamation, online marketing, search engine optimization, and search engine technology questions. Some of my prominent clients have included Pods. I've worked on cases involving Google, the Academy Awards organization versus GoDaddy, Teamworks versus Starbucks, Kawazinga versus Microsoft, and Versace versus Fashion Nova. I think I have a few little secrets up my sleeve. While I often try to come up with unique strategies and methodology, I have always tried to stick to methods that are considered to be white hat. But I do have friends that have thought that I was just a little too clever for white hat and have joked that I'm actually something of a black hatter. I'm really not, but I do like to come up with things that people haven't thought of and kind of wedge my way into search engine results for my clients and try to help them with some often very difficult and upsetting problems and try to help them recover their reputation enough to continue doing business. If you have a reputation management problem showing up in the search results, there's some techniques here that might help you. If you don't have a reputation problem, there are things that you should be doing proactively to try to protect yourself, because almost inevitably you may run into an issue on the internet here in 2020. Anyway, these techniques should be able to help you with that. They also have ancillary advantages as well. They can help out with your overall SEO program and overall marketing. So stay tuned and let's go right into them. Okay, so just touching on kind of the simple principle that is behind most of the strategies that I work on. As background information, online reputation management, SEO, is highly complex. It's one of the most complex niches of search engine optimization practice that there is. And it's because there's a great many more factors than just kind of in some more standard SEO where you're trying to get a web page or a website to rank for some very isolated and discrete keyword phrases. Online reputation management SEO is complex because when you think about it, the Google search engine results page, the typical one, has approximately 10 search listings. That's not necessarily the same across the board. I'm seeing a whole lot more variation here in 2020 than I've seen in previous years. However, it's still fairly standard that there's 10 search result listings, but that doesn't even matter for this concept so much as the fact that if you have one negative search listing that's showing up for your name search prominently on the search engine results pages, then you have a really complex issue, because you need to get the optimization going for 10 or more other pages in order to displace that one item. And I say 10 plus other pages because not only do you want to fill up the first page of search results with positive and neutral items about your keyword, which is assumably your name, your brand name, You often need to get a few more items than that ranking even into the second page of search results, because if it's only at the top of the second page of search results, then it can very easily pop back up on the first page of search results. And Google's kind of famous for automatically testing back and forth those items from the top of the second page of search results to see whether they get really good engagement rates. So you have to come up with 10 items. This is an order of magnitude more difficult than just getting one product page to rank well on the first page of search results for its product keyword searches. You've got to get multiple items. And one of the reasons why this is complex is that Google doesn't want all pages from the same source, all pages from the same website or domain. They want some good degree of variety showing up in the search results. So you have to get 10 pages from different sources, different domains, different types of content showing up on the first page of search results to satisfy what the algorithm is looking for. So as an example of that, what if you had some reputation damage abruptly occur? And here's an example just from the past few weeks. The Richards Group took a real hit when their founder and namesake said some things that were reported in the media that are very, very negative and really harmed their reputations to some degree, to a large enough degree where he's stepped down, apparently. And so you have major news websites like Texas Monthly Magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, DFW, and the Dallas Morning News websites all reporting on this item. And so all these things are suddenly showing up in the first page of search results. This is not a unique experience for companies. There's quite a lot of companies and individuals out there that have something appear in the search results that's highly negative. If it is from major news media, then you've got a difficulty. You've got to get some items ranking, 10 items or more, ranking in the first page of search results that can outrank these items, these articles from major news stories, major news websites. And they have built up really powerful ranking ability over the years from receiving many, many high quality links and having ongoing social media engagement. And those signals translate into prominence ranking factors in Google and other search engines. So if you abruptly have something ranking really well and you don't have already stuff well developed to try to outrank it, then you've got to suddenly get stuff going to where you're creating 10 or more items on different domains that all have to be able to rank well. And that is quite difficult. And that's why I've come up with this kind of overarching strategy that's going to, be addressed by the 10 tips that I have for you today. So I call it piggyback SEO, meaning that you're going to leverage really strong websites that already have ranking ability out there. You're going to use their SEO ability for your project. And it sounds kind of parasitic in a way, and I guess you could say that it was. However, what you're doing is just taking advantage of the infrastructure and development of those other websites and their ranking factors, and you're going to key into those to outrank something negative. So we're building ranking signals from scratch to displace a page from a website that has evolved ranking weight for years, and that's not a trivial task. So piggyback SEO, we want to take like some platform that's already out there that's super strong. So in this example, like ABC platform site, and they've already got all these SEO features baked in, like they have millions of pages and thousands of high quality links. And they have millions of social media links and engagements over time, or hundreds of thousands or thousands of them. And they've got automated sitemap inclusion for any new pages. So if you're creating a new page about your brand, Acme company, then it's already got some of these things baked into it, the social media sharing stuff, the interconnections. It's got sitemaps or interlinks and RSS feeds and stuff, so the search engines will find it and index it real rapidly. It's got, well-formed titles, and the title's one of the most influential factors of all on-page SEO factors out there. So you want that to match up with your company name super closely. And they've also got the other stuff real frequently, like H1 tags reflecting the title, same title text, and meta descriptions, and alt text of their images, and links that are well formed, and tags that interconnect, and stuff like that. They also have additional features in many cases, like phone fields and addresses and links, some things that translate into schema code automatically on their pages, and user reviews and things like that, all sorts of other items too. And they frequently have easy content publishing exposure so that you can publish things ongoing and start getting exposure and getting all of that engagement score and links and stuff going for your profile page on these platform sites. So, of course, one of the top platforms out there that's really easy to get going is Twitter, and it's super powerful and it's worth it. So if you don't have a Twitter account, or if you've neglected it, then you just do some, set one up and exercise a little care and feeding, and you can get that Twitter account going. So here's an example that I love to cite, City Museum. They do almost everything really beautifully and perfectly, and their social media game is on point. And so here's their Twitter page, and they've well developed it over time. It's got 36,000 followers, and they're following a handful of accounts, but they've got ongoing postings that they publish, and people interact with those and stuff. They do have some negative stuff out there if you look for it, but they're a really great organization, and so I love to highlight them, and they do stuff really well. So it's not necessarily very easy to find the negative stuff about them, because all these other things like their Twitter account are ranking on the first page of search results for them. So how does Twitter's ranking ability and other social media platforms' ranking ability occur? A lot of people kind of discount them for SEO value because links from them are no followed in many cases, meaning they don't pass PageRank value. But how does Google rank their pages if they're not passing around PageRank value? Well, the answer to that's really pretty interesting. So let's take, for example, John Smith, a fictional person, although there's many people on Twitter named John Smith, and his profile page. And so let's say he's set it up. It's got his name going in the handle, and he's got a number of followers he's developed, and he follows a number of people. Well, he also is liking things. You would think that the number of followers, and people have gotten mixed up about this, that the number of followers to his page might be the big thing that Google looks at. Oh, he's got tons of followers, therefore his page should rank well. That's not necessarily exactly how it works, because what we find is those followers don't have very good PageRank flow ability, and neither do the profiles that he's following. He doesn't get necessarily link backs for those. And so those two factors associated with Twitter profiles don't function real well for search engine optimization purposes. And part of that's because those are blocked by robots.txt. Followers and following stuff is blocked. And so Google's not going to their followers and following pages on these profiles and spidering those, so they don't see those links. By contrast, when someone mentions your profile and links to it with the @ symbol in Twitter, that actually provides an open link within the Twitter network. And that internal network link does help produce some page rank for your page as Google finds those tweets out there. And so also, if you interact with other people's tweets, let's say there's a popular account out there like 50 Nerds of Gray, and you interact with some of their tweets, then you could be one of these top 9 little Twitter profiles that are highlighted by them by retweeting or liking it. And if you ended up in that, if you're one of the first ones to interact with it, then you can get a link back to your profile. And so those are open links too. So all those, that kind of engagement activities on Twitter produces links internal within Twitter that do pass PageRank. And that's how Google's able to assess relative popularity within the Twitter network. And since Twitter itself has accrued lots of PageRank, that helps Google also to assess the relative popularity of Twitter profile pages and tweets amongst all of the other content out on the internet. And so tweets and Twitter profiles can also rank. And so that's how you develop it. You have to go through and do good social media management on Twitter in order to develop the SEO for your profile to rank on the first page of search results. But it's not all that difficult because Twitter has so many good things baked into it. So Facebook is another profile platform that you can set up a page on for your business, and it already comes with a lot of factors baked into it that Google generally likes. And Google generally likes Facebook as a whole because it has lots and lots of links to it and has lots of activity associated with it. Just like Twitter, they do have parts of Facebook that are hard for Google to access, but the parts that they do access, they can see very easily, and they can see the internal links within Facebook. And so you want that interconnectivity. You want people liking your page, interacting with your postings to it. You want to post things frequently. You can even develop more followers and such on Facebook by advertising, although that's going to cost you some money. All of those signals help you to get your profile page on Facebook to rank because it's such a strong platform. If you don't like advertising and you kind of want to do more promotion to all these followers that you're developing, consider a Facebook group. Your company can set up a group name, a group in its name for your fans and your dedicated customers so that you can interact and communicate with them. Or you can post things, tips about using your products, new product announcements, new features, asking, questions to your followers like, post pics of you using our product and stuff, and you can get some interaction depending on the type of company you are. And so here's the official Peloton member page, and they've got over 350,000 members. And so you can imagine that group page on Facebook has a good chance of ranking in the search results for Peloton searches. But there's also, of course, Peloton member groups for all sorts of major cities in the US and subgroups of people like moms and other stuff. So you could even create, if you have a regular Facebook page for your business, you could create groups for your most popular product names. And so you can do reputation management for those products. And the groups on Facebook are really powerful for doing, some types of marketing and community development because it largely doesn't really even require any kind of advertising costs, unlike everything else on Facebook. So the Better Business Bureau is also a platform that is really good and worthwhile. A lot of people complain about Better Business Bureau because they feel like they're being, forced in some way to pay a fee, or they don't like how the Better Business Bureau arbitrates complaints from consumers and stuff. But by and large, from my viewpoint, they're kind of the grade A of rating and review websites out there because they listen to businesses and because they try to only allow real, non-fake comments and complaints and reviews. They go to some effort, unlike all of the other sites out there that don't really go to as much effort to assess who and what it is that's being posted on their networks. So Better Business Bureau actually is pretty good. And what's more, if you have a good rating and profile page on there, it's well worth it. So I encourage people to pay the accreditation fee so that you can get accredited and have your profile page on there, and you can add your link to the profile page and your logo and stuff like that. But these pages have a very good chance of ranking in the search results, particularly if you're building links to them. So, for many types of companies, it's worthwhile to have that Better Business Bureau logo and their grade rating on their pages, and you could have it on all the pages of your website, creating even more links back to your Better Business Bureau rating and profile pages. So another reason to consider using it is that it seems to be something that Google really, really likes. Google cites it a couple dozen times, I believe, in their most recent quality rater guidelines documents. And because of that, many SEOs out there have said, oh, the rating value is a ranking factor. But just as the Twitter follower number isn't really a factor that Google uses, neither is the grade necessarily on the Better Business Bureau profile pages, but the fact that you have links from the Better Business Bureau, albeit no followed ones, and that your business name is on there, those could provide some citations and Google could see that. But the basic takeaway is that it improves consumer trust in your website, bringing you more customers and probably more clicks on your items in the search results. And so that's why it's beneficial, and probably is beneficial from that extent for your overall SEO program. So LinkedIn is another great platform for use for your business. If you set up a corporate page on LinkedIn, it can rank for your name. So here's a good example from the local area. Haynes and Boone LLP, one of the biggest attorney law firms there is in the Dallas area. And if you scroll down on their first page of search results, their company page is one of the top things that appears there, even above many usually strong ranking law business directories. And that's because they have optimized to some degree, because their employees have associated their individual LinkedIn profiles with the company's main profile. So LinkedIn is really great to use, especially for small businesses that don't already have a LinkedIn page and are looking to beef up their name search results. So it's real easy to set up, and it's important though to also encourage your employees to add the proper name to their page so that it will associate and link over to the main corporate page. Google ads are actually something that I've seen used for online reputation management a number of times now. One of the more classic cases is if someone is attacking you in the paid search results. Here's an example from just a few years ago. The Diamond Doctor in Dallas had this very predatory attorney firm from over in Tennessee trying to get people to sue the Diamond Doctor and hire them. And so that really predatory law firm set up these ads, and I don't even think they had previously had any customers that had sued Diamond Doctor. They were just out trolling for lawsuits. But this made Diamond Doctor look bad and could potentially result in litigation against them. And as an aside, one of the things that came out in the court case was that this attorney firm would sometimes, in such instances, they would target different companies with ads like this, and then that company could potentially hire the attorney firm as a consultant and pay them a fee, and at that point they would stop posting the ads. So there's kind of almost a really shady extortion element involved in that. But what Diamond Doctor did was to take out ads, and you can see that they had their own brand ad there in order to try to push down this negative ad that was targeting. But they also, I know their ad manager, and they did something brilliant also. While Google wants you to only really take out ads for your business for one domain, they actually set up a whole nother domain in addition and took out additional ads to push it down even further. This case eventually got settled, but There's also another instance that I've seen as well where I have a current client in the travel industry, and they had a blogger post a really negative blog post about them. It's actually was a paid sponsored blog post that was sponsored by one of their top competitors, who was trying to damage them in reputation. But what they did was, one of the things was to take out an ad for another website that was friendly to them and have the wording in that ad, the title and the snippet text of the ad, appear almost identical in form and much of the content to the organic listing ad. So if a consumer is looking at the page of search results and they were interested in clicking on that blog link in the search results, they might actually click on the paid ad instead, which goes to stuff that was positive about them. So Google Ads can be used in various ways. One of the top ways, though, is to take out an ad in your name, and just to, if you have something negative appearing in the search results, go ahead and advertise on your brand name so that you can push it down just at least a little notch in the search results, because industry research shows us that the stuff at the top of the search results gets clicked on and engaged with and seen more than stuff that's pushed down. So you might be able to push down something negative out of the above the fold area of the search results, but also you might be able to damage its click-through rate and engagement rate, which might affect its rankings, especially if you're trying to promote and link to the other stuff below it and around it in order to outrank it. YouTube is just one of the best things to use for online reputation management. So what if you're a big brand like this example, Stefano Ricci, that has, a famous worldwide brand name, is one of the top most luxurious and expensive of clothing brands for men, but you've got one negative thing showing up in the search results, like this Glassdoor review, which is like one employee was not happy or something and posted this review about them. Well, while they have a really great reputation overall, they still might be negatively affected by this because their clientele might not want to potentially buy products from a company that is purportedly not nice to employees. And so one of the things they could use to supplant that would be YouTube. You can set up your own channel on YouTube, which is ideal because then you can have these social media links to your top social media accounts, so you can help interlink those in here as well as your official website. And the channel should be in your name, of course, that you want to show up in the search results with, and you can post your videos and promotional stuff here. But you can also set up a video that's a profile video about your company, and that's what they have done here. So this is like an ad all about your company, but it's also kind of like a little online resume or business profile overview, but in video form. And so it can be in your company's name, and you want to have the other elements of optimizing that for YouTube and optimizing it for videos, like allowing comments and allowing embeds, because all of those different signals can help build the ranking power of that video for your name. And that can appear in the search results for you, helping to push down other negative stuff. So for instance, on the search results page for Stefano Ricci, you have the YouTube video appearing instead of that Glassdoor negative review. Crunchbase is really a great one. It's a business directory. It's also a directory of people involved in startups and large companies and such. But what people don't realize is if you're a small company, you can also set up your profile of your company on Crunchbase and add in information about it, add in a link to your official webpage and stuff. And to help optimize it further, you can add in your people associated with your business profile in Crunchbase, and that can help solve a dual purpose because frequently the executives and prominent people or prominent employees associated with your business can also have reputation issues, and so you want to develop their online reputations proactively as well. But their activities and their profiles can help build linking internally and ranking value for the company space. And if you associate stuff with your Crunchbase personal profile and such, you can actually have your tweets appearing up on the Crunchbase page as well. So it helps co-promote your Twitter account. Another really great trick is to go find a blog that ranks really well for your kind of industry terms or your local area, and hire the blogger to post an article about your company. Many bloggers are very open to this. And unlike the old technique of trying to hire someone or pay for an article or get a guest post on a blog in order to get a link back, you don't even care about the link because you want the blog post itself to rank. And if they have a pretty powerful blog, then you have a good chance of it. If they have a good social media footprint themselves and promote their blog posts, those are good signs. So here's an example. So just this year, many restaurants took a real ding to their online reputations when they took COVID loans that were perceived to be for much smaller businesses. So De Niro's Nobu restaurants that were high-end fusion sushi restaurants took a real hit in the search results for taking Corona aid virus loans and PPP loans. So here's also Shake Shack took a hit on it, and Ruth's Chris Steakhouse took a hit. Now, if you've been attacked in the search results, if you're a restaurant, usually restaurants have really great, if they're liked, if they're well known, they usually have really great reputations in the search results that can be very hard to erode. But if you have something like this showing up, then you want to work on that. So by contrast, here's Grand Lux Cafe in Chicago, Illinois. There's also one here in Dallas. They're really great. They have 5 million different food dishes to choose from. Really great menu. It's really kind of a luxurious atmosphere. Pretty fantastic. But what if they had something negative like these other restaurants did showing up in the search results? Then they could hire a blogger. And indeed, the Grand Lux Cafe did approach bloggers to write a review, an earnest review about them. And so they approached this one, Bunny and Brandy's Brunch Time blog, and they went and visited the restaurant and actually did a big write-up of it, how good their breakfast was. If you do this in order to get another valuable and easily ranking thing in the search results, you want to make sure that they have kind of fairly good search engine optimization, fairly good visibility, that they blog fairly frequently, that they promote that through various social media and stuff. But you also want to make sure that you instruct them that this is a sponsored post, and actually, in order to follow FTC guidelines, you want it to be labeled as a sponsored post. So they actually even have, it says the writers of this blog were invited to dine at the restaurant free of charge in exchange for an honest review. So there you have it. But this doesn't impair their ability to rank for the brand. And even though they weren't necessarily instructed to write a positive review, it's kind of implicit and generally predisposes people to be a little bit nicer to you if you are providing something to them for free. So, leverage those well-optimized blogs out there and get one of them to write an article about your company. Glassdoor, while I referred to it earlier with the Stefano Ricci is dinging their reputation. In many cases, if you don't have a Glassdoor profile page showing up about you, then if you have a reputation problem, you can go and go to your employees that you think are positively disposed towards you, and even previous employees, and say, hey, could you write us a review, go in and give honest feedback on Glassdoor for us, and those pages can start to show up. So leverage your own employees, just like with LinkedIn, to request that they rate your business on Glassdoor. Now, if you aren't nice to your employees, you wouldn't want to do this. Or if Glassdoor has already kind of, harmed you in some way, you might want to avoid that. Or if you're kind of an active target of some sort of malicious online reputation damaging campaign, then you might not want to get that, because they might be able to go in and rate your business badly if you're kind of under attack from one of your own. But here's an example. Whole Foods has gone in big with integrating some with Glassdoor, and they've got really worked on their profile pages there, and their employees have all lots of them have given feedback there, so their Glassdoor page ranks very strongly for their brand. My final tip is kind of one of my stealth tips, and it's to use what I call doppelganger pages. And so what this is, if you have a website that's got something negative ranking against you, assess it and see if you can create a profile page on that website itself. And there's many instances when you can. So kind of the basis of this strategy is that, like I said, Google doesn't like to have multiple pages on the first page of search results or on a results page from the same domain. So if you create something else on that same domain name that is better optimized than the negative thing, it could end up replacing the negative item in the search results. And we've had that happen successfully in a number of cases. So just for instance, we have a client currently that had a little disciplinary issue with their legal board, and that resulted in a article on justia.com that goes over that, this person had a disciplinary thing happen. That doesn't make their reputation look good when that appears real high in the search results. So what we found was that you could actually create a profile on justia.com for attorneys, and it doesn't necessarily show these disciplinary actions if you've set up a fresh one and stuff. And so what we did was we went in and set up and optimized as best we could. Optimizing it means we added their photo to it, their personal websites linked to it, their description, their categorizations are filled out. We linked to it externally. We added as much beef to that page as we could, and then we started linking to it, and we're getting it ranking well in the search results, like in this example. This is just an example. This is not a person that I am aware has any kind of reputation issue. I just pulled it because they had filled out their profile and kind of optimized it well by paying a lot of attention to it and filling it out and stuff. So here's another example of this. If you have many different news sites out there, allow people to post comments. And sometimes when you set up and register with them to post comments, it creates a profile page about you. So here in this instance, TechDirt reports about all sorts of things in the technology industry. But if you go in and create, like in your business name, an account, or in your personal name, if you're worried about some article that's ranking about your personal name from TechDirt, you can get a profile page. So I went in. I don't have a reputation problem with them. I did this as an example, but you can register and create your own. And so here's my profile page on TechDirt. And you can't add a whole lot about it, but it does add in your name as the title and I think H1, and you could add a link to it and stuff like that. And so then that personal profile page links for my name in the search results. And I think that you can use aliases on there, in which case you can set up a name. I believe we have done this before, set up a name in a company's name that was targeted by articles on TechDirt, and we started promoting and linking to that profile page and got it to outrank the negative thing from TechDirt. That's all I had for this, and I really hope that you got something worthwhile out of it. and it looks like we might have just a little bit of time for some Q&A. So if you have any questions, I'm going to be online here for it. Thank you very much.